Hello guys, welcome to our operating system course. This is our third video discussing about the installation of the operating system to our computer system. This is a step-by-step process which demonstrates the installation, configuration of the operating system from the very beginning up to the last point. So this time we're going to explain you the process, what are the necessary things to prepare, and then on the second part will be the actual configuration and installation of the operating system, which for this moment we're using Windows 7 as the version of the operating system to be installed in our demonstration. Right, so let's start. Okay, Windows 7 installation step by step. Okay, so our learning objectives, you are expected to understand the importance of formatting and partitioning of the drive, demonstrate and perform the complete process of formatting and configuration, and the last is you have to relate the importance of backups, just safety in performing the formatting process for file security. So these are our objective for this topic, and I hope that you will attain this objective that we set. So in order to install a copy of your Windows 7 operating system, make sure to have the following items. The first one is our Windows 7 installation disk, CD or DVD installation. So after the installation process, if needed, note, please make sure to back up all of your important data before proceeding with this installation. Why do we need to back up? Backup is a process of securing our files, because when we do the formatting or installation of fresh copy of operating system, our files will be deleted and will not be recovered. Alright, so step 1, we are going to insert the Windows 7 operating system disk into our DVD drive, and then we need to restart our computer. Then step 2, we will see the prompt that says press any key to continue. Okay, so you are going to watch the monitor after turning on and make sure the operating system installation disk is already in place with a DVD drive, or your bootable USB is actually inserted in your computer. Then you have to set up for the boot priorities, and then next you have to press any key to continue. So by pressing any key to continue, that will go directly to the bootable disk, which is being set as the first priority for booting the system. So you see in this press any key immediately. Note the following screenshot may differ from what you may see during your installation. Okay, so first thing, I'm going to go back a little bit, because we're going to have, there are two options. It's either you're going to use the bootable CD or DVD, or you will be creating a bootable USB. So in this case, I'm going to show you the process of creating a bootable USB. It is quite easy. What do we need is we need to have the Rufus 3.12.17 or other application that is capable of creating a bootable disk USB. Alright, then Next is the ISO file of the Windows operating system. So you need to have a disk copy ISO file of the Windows operating system, and any version, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. Then last is the computer, of course, the computer that is to be used for the formatting. Okay, so these are the materials that we need to have. Okay, so this is now our installed Rufus application. So you are going to install this to the system, to your computer, and then before you can create a bootable disk. So it says that you're going to install Rufus application to your system. Then after the installation, run the application and select the ISO file of the operating system. Okay, so after installation of Rufus application, you double click that one, meaning you are going to open the application. Then you could see this interface. What you're going to do is you are going to browse or select, click the select, then locate your disk or ISO image in this select button. So by browsing that and then locating the disk or the ISO file of the operating system, let's say for example the Windows 7 ISO file, then you have to select that one, and then that will be actually replace the path in here. Okay, so you have to choose for the partition scheme, then the format option, we have NTFS. Okay, that is depending on the version of operating system. So by default, that is NTFS file. And then we have here the status, showing the status of your bootable. So if that is already set, then like this, so you can click the start button. So you click the start, and then the computer will have to copy the ISO file in your USB. Then after that, until it reach up to 100%, then meaning your USB is already bootable. Bootable meaning when you plug in this USB, you can run the operating system that is coming from the USB. Alright, so that is how we're going to create the bootable disk. Okay, so after assuming we are done with the creation of bootable disk, or we are having our bootable DVD, so first step that we're going to do is insert our CD or DVD operating system in the installer or the configured bootable disk in the computer system. So before turning on your computer, insert your DVD, insert your USB to the slots or to the ports. Okay, next step is turn on your computer. So when you turn on the computer, you have to press the delete key, or some of the computer will have to use F2 to, that is to enter the setup. Okay, so keep on pressing this key. That is depending on the model. So you are going to refer that to the documentation on how to access the setup of your BIOS. Okay, so we are going to enter into the BIOS setup. That is for us to set up the boot configuration. Okay, boot configuration meaning we are going to have to select a boot option priority. So we have to select the first option, the boot option number 1 for CD if you are using bootable disk in the DVD, or you are going to have boot option 1 for your USB. So you are going to locate the correct device where your bootable disk is actually copied. Then after that, click the save and exit. Make sure to click the save and exit in order for you to save the configuration that you have, especially on the boot priorities. And then after clicking and save and exit, then it will restart the computer. After restarting the computer, it will redirect to the disk that is you are referring to in the option, both option number 1. So this moment we have to select the language used in formatting the process. So assuming we're done with the process of configuration, the system will restart, and then it will now go to the boot option number 1, which is the DVD or our USB. So it looks like this. It will go directly to the logo, Windows 7. Then we have here the language. You're going to select the language. By default, that is where everybody can understand. Alright, so we are going to use English, and then followed by clicking next. Okay, we have to click next, and then we could see this window again. It will proceed to the install now. If you wanted to install a fresh copy of your operating system, or you wanted to install a new copy of operating system to your computer, or we have an option here in the second line, repair your computer. Meaning, repair your computer is try to provide us to simply fix some files which are corrupted. No? If that will be fixed by the operating system file, then that might be good because it will not take so long. But if not, then that's the time that you're going to proceed to the install now button, meaning you have to do the process of installing a new copy of operating system. So assuming we're now installing, or we click the install now, follow the next window, which is the EULA. Okay, EULA is the end user license agreement. Okay, end user license agreement, that every time that we go into the installation process, there are agreements that you need to conform with the terms. So meaning, we need to check this, accept the terms, or else you cannot proceed to the next. Meaning, in the absence of checking the accept the terms here, this next button is disabled. Now meaning, whether we like it or not, we have to check this in order for us to proceed. So check this, accept the terms, and then you can proceed to the next process. Okay, so we are already on the next process, which is we are provided an option whether we are to upgrade or we are going to have a custom advance. What's the difference between the two? Upgrade meaning we just have to level up the version of our operating system from Windows 7 to Windows 8 or Windows 10, depending on the capacity of your hard drive or your hardware itself in the computer system. So meaning, if that is compatible for Windows 10, then that's okay. You are going to upgrade that to Windows 10. But if the capacity of your computer is only intended for Windows 7, then there is no reason for you to install Windows 10, because one will be affected is the performance of your computer. Alright? That is for the portability issue. So so next is custom advance. Custom advance, if you're going to choose this custom advance, you are provided an option to delete the drive or to delete all the drives, or you have to select the drive to be deleted and then reinstall the fresh copy of an operating system. So that's the difference between the two options here. Okay, so assuming we choose custom advanced, then there is an option for us to delete the drive. So in this case, it deleted the different drives, and then that becomes one already. So we have the drive option here. Drive option that you are going to create new partition. So this is now on the partitioning of our hard drive. Partitioning meaning we are going to divide our drive into different partitions for us to segregate our files. For the program files, file for our personal file, for our movies, and etc. That is the purpose of having the partition. Okay, so we have to segregate our files. We have to separate files according to its function. So after partitioning, then that's the time that it will proceed to the installation, copying of Windows files. So these 5 here, 5 layers of installation should be completed before we could reach into this configuration. So it will restart on this particular process. The computer will restart 2 or 3 times until such time it reaches to the completing installation process. So what we're going to do is just simply to wait until it reaches up to 100, then the system will restart, and never press anything on the keyboard, okay, during the installation, because that may redirect the system to load on the previous installation process. Okay, so until such time that it is done with the completion of installation, then it will reach up to this particular window. Will have to ask the user what would be the name of your computer. Okay, so example John Doe. Then after writing the name of the computer, then just proceed to next. Then after that, you will be asked also if you wanted to add password to your system. It might be okay, or depending on you if you're going to add password to it or not. If not, then you can proceed to next. You can bypass that. Anyway, you can create a password after the installation process. So that's why it is okay. Then after that, next is the use recommended settings, another option. So just choose this one, the first option, use recommended settings for finalization of the installation. And then after that, configure the date and time, the current date and time, so that will be stored in the CMOS battery. All right, and this one is for the network. We have to set up our network. Okay, so finally we're done with the installation process. Okay, so if you could see this icon, this logo is for Windows 7. So this is a fresh copy of an operating system installed to your system, and then there are no files yet, there are no programs installed except for the operating system. So meaning this is free from virus. So the next step that you're going to do after this is you have to install the utility applications like antivirus. Okay, you are going to install a different application that you need to use in your courses. So that is the process, the whole process of formatting the computer system. On the second part will be the actual demonstration of the installation of operating system from the configuration up to the last part. So relax and continue to watch this next video. Thank you. Hello guys, good morning. Welcome to our third video tutorial for the course operating system. So this morning I'm going to demonstrate to you on how are we going to perform the formatting, the installation, at the same time the preparation on the process of formatting the computer. As we all know that operating system is a system software that is being installed to our computer system to facilitate the communication between this hardware and the program installed in our computer system. So what are we going to do is, when we do formatting, we need to have the following materials or the devices. We need to have the DVD drive or the CD drive, depending on what device are we going to use in formatting. It's either you're going to use the CD or the DVD, or you can have the USB stick. Okay, this is where we're going to configure, and then we will install our operating system. It might be Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, and depending on the version of the computer system that requires. So the operating system that you have to install, you have to consider the capacity of your computer system. So if your computer system is quite obsolete, then you're not going to install an operating system which is in a higher version, because that would affect the performance of your computer when it comes to processing. Okay, so this time I'm going to show you how are we going to set up and perform the installation process of operating system, formatting, and a lot of process that we're going to undergo. So just sit back and then relax, just watch for the demonstration, and I hope that you will learn. After this video, you will learn how to reformat your computer. By the way, reformatting your computer is not always an option. Why do we need to reformat our computer? We need to reformat it because of the reason that your computer will not boot properly or will not function. When you turn on the computer, it will keep on starting up. It will not load the operating system. So the option there is either, first thing is you are going to repair that operating system if possible, if you can repair it, okay, or the last option is you are going to reformat. Only that the difference is that when you are going to repair, you are just trying to fix some parts of the operating system files in order to make it functional, and the files, our files that is stored in the system, will not be affected. Whereas when you're going to reformat, when you reformat the computer, expect that the files will be affected. So that is why supposedly if you are going to reformat or you are going to install a new copy of operating system, make sure you have to perform backup. Okay, you have to copy files first, important files, and then that's the time that you are going to undergo or you are going to perform the formatting of a new copy of the operating system. So now we're going to use this external drive. So what we're going to do is we have two USB port here, or slot, or yes, the connector. Then we're going to connect this into our computer system. That is for the data and the power. Alright, so after that we have, this is our CD. Supposedly this computer system is having a Windows 10 operating system, only that the available CD in my resources is Windows 7. That is okay. Anyway, for as long as the process of formatting is the same, whether that is Windows 7, that is Windows 8. The difference, there will be a little difference between the CD and then the USB when it comes to the process, because when you're going to use the CD, it will take a little while, but then when you're going to use the USB, this is quite faster compared to the CD. So anyway, the process will have to go through, and then there are some steps only that will be omitted if you're going to use the USB. So that is the difference between the two. But when it comes to the process from the configuration, it is almost the same. So this time I'm going to use the CD or the DVD Windows 7 Professional. This is our version of operating system that will be installed in this system. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to insert now our CD, okay, into the drive. Okay, insert our CD into the drive. Then next step is assuming that everything is okay, and then it is connected to the power. So turn on the AVR. Then next is turn on the power of the computer system. Okay, so while turning on the computer system, you have to start pressing the delete key. So after pressing the delete button, you will be directed to the BIOS setup. So we have here the different tabs. We have MIT, we have system information, the BIOS features, we have the peripheral, the power management, and save and exit. So what we're going to do is we will be navigating into the BIOS features, because in the MIT we have here advanced frequency settings, advanced memory settings. This talks about the settings of the computer system. By default, we will not change everything here. And then let's use the arrow key, right? Then go to the third tab, which is the BIOS features. So in the BIOS features, you could see in here the boot option priorities. Boot option priorities, boot option number 1, boot option number 2, number 3. Boot option, that means when you turn on the computer, the setting or the setup, which is the boot option number 1, will be the first one to be checked by the computer system, whether the operating system is actually present in there. Boot option number 2, in the absence of boot option number 1, then it will proceed to boot option number 2, and so on and so forth, until such time that when the system checking the operating system, so in the absence of the operating system in this boot options, then there might be a problem loading the operating system. So in that case, you need to repair, or you are going to reinstall a new copy of operating system. So in here, we'll just go directly to the fourth, which is the hard drive BBS priorities. This is the setting where you're going to change if ever you are going to use USB. Okay, if you're going to use this USB as your device for booting the operating system and formatting, but since we're using the DVD and the CD, so we're going to choose, or use the arrow key down to choose the CD DVD ROM boot BBS priorities. Then we're going to click enter. Okay, when you click the enter, there is boot option number 1, boot option number 2 from CD. So boot option number 1, you have to select that. Then you could see this is our DVD Transcend, and this is ATPIIS. Okay, this is the hard drive. Okay. So let's use the Transcend, because this is the device that we are going to boot our operating system. Okay, then let's go back, go to boot option number 1, then click boot option number 1 and select the Transcend. Okay, you can select, you can change that by using the arrow down and arrow up. Then select the Transcend, because this is our target where the operating system is actually found. So we're going to boot that from the DVD. So we'll just click the enter, and then you could see the Transcend there, the DVD, which we have inserted our DVD Windows 7 Professional. So after that, we will not change anything aside from the boot option priorities. It's either CD or DVD if you're going to use DVD, and then hard drive for USB. Okay, so just click the save and exit, then the system will ask you save configuration and reset. Then yes, you click yes, then it will boot the system again, and then it will look for the first boot priority. Okay, so let's wait for the computer system to restart, and then sometimes computer will just say press any key to continue booting, or else it will go directly to loading the operating system. Okay, so this operating system being loaded to the system is actually taken from the DVD that we inserted. So in formatting the computer, all we have to do is what is tricky in this is just the configuration. So after the configuration, as long as the operating system was successfully loaded to the system, then we will just follow the procedures or the steps how the system will ask the user, or what is the action to be taken by the user in the installation process. So now we are already on the window which will ask the language that we are going to use in the installation. So of course we're going to have by default English, of course English, because this is the language where we could understand. Okay, then what you're going to do is simply click next. Okay, so in here there are options. We have here install now, if you are going to install the new copy of operating system. Then if you want to know before installation or installing Windows, you can click this. You will be redirected on the basic information, or you can have the repair your computer. So as I have said, it is not necessary that we are going to format or reinstall a new copy of operating system if that will be done by repairing your operating system. So repairing your computer is, you are going to have that in case your operating system will just keep on rebooting. It will not successfully loading the operating system. So in that process, after repairing the computer and then your system will not be fixed, then that's the time that you are going to install a new copy of operating system. So if you're going to install, so just click install now. Okay, so installing, the system will have to read the data from the installation disk, then it will start the setup. By the way, formatting of computer, it may take a lot of time. Okay, it will also keep on rebooting. Okay, so you have to read the license terms, or the EULA, end user license agreement. So by default, just assume that you read this, but it is good that you are going to read before proceeding, so that you could have the idea of what is the term of the Windows operating system about. So after reading, just click the checkbox here, I accept the terms or the license term. So of course, because in the absence of checking this checkbox, then you could not proceed. So meaning that is quite similar to whether you like it or not, you have to like it, because if you will not agree with the terms, then you could not proceed to next. Alright, so after checking, just click next, and then we have here another option. Another option is whether you are going to upgrade your operating system or you are going to have a custom advanced. What's the difference? Upgrading, of course, upgrade to a newer version of operating system. Keep your file settings and programs. So when you are going to upgrade, say for example, you have Windows 7, then you wanted to upgrade your system into Windows 8, then you can use the option upgrade. See to it that your Windows installation disk is Windows 8 or higher version to the existing version of an operating system. The custom advanced, you are going to install a new copy of operating system. So our purpose for this demonstration is we are going to demonstrate on the process how are we going to install a fresh copy of operating system. So we are going to select this custom advanced. Okay, so in here we have different drives. Okay, just a very simple example. This is our hard disk, and then these different partitions, or partitions are referring to the divisions of the disk for us to classify our files and our documents. That is the purpose of repartitioning. So what we're going to do is we are going to merge this one, merge these partitions. Okay, we will delete this one. So you are going to have options here: refresh, load driver, drive option advance. So we have to click the drive option advance. Okay, drive option advance, then make sure you are going to select the drive that you are going to perform deleting or the deletion of partition. So we are going to delete these partitions to make it as one. Okay, so just click delete, then click OK. Okay, we have deleted the first one, the second, the partition one, then we're going to delete this also. Selected partition one, delete, then click OK. So the same process with the different partitions. Okay, remember that when you delete this partition, your files will be affected, that will be lost. Alright, so be careful before doing this process, deleting the partition. Make sure that your important files were successfully backed up. So meaning, before you are going to do the formatting, back up your files first so that you could use that file after the formatting process. Okay, delete. So we will delete this and delete. Alright, so if how many partitions do we have in our drive, then we wanted that all partition will be lost, will be having a new partition again. So we are going to delete all partitions. So by that, unallocated space, that is 465.8 gigabyte. So what we're going to do this in this particular partition, so we're going to repartition it again. The purpose of having the repartition is we have to perform the reclassification of files. So for example, we wanted to separate our documents, we want to separate our personal files, we want to separate our movies. Okay, and of course another drive will be allocated for the installation of our program. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this unallocated space into two. Okay, break this into two. So in the option, you are just simply to click new. Okay, click new, that is to create the new drive. Okay, so 476939. So we are going to divide that into two. 476,939 divided by 2 equals 238,469. So 476,939, we are going to divide that into 2, meaning 50 for drive C, another 50% for drive D. Or it's either you are going to divide that into 3, then you can have 33% of the first partition, 33% of the second partition, and 33% of the third partition. So what you're going to do is just get the total value here and then divided by 3, and the result of that will be inputted in this box. So in this case, we just simply get the 50% of 476939, then that will result to 238469. 238469. So that is the 50% of the total disk capacity. So after that, you are going to click apply. Okay, to ensure that all Windows features correctly work correctly, Windows might create additional partition for the system files. Okay, then just agree. So in this one, this is a reserve for the system file. Automatically, the system will have to allocate system reserve for the system file, where that will be storing the system file in this partition. So this is the first partition that we created. So the second partition is unallocated, meaning unallocated, that is not yet being partitioned, that is free. So you can leave it as that if in case you wanted to have a dual bootable operating system. Okay, what does it mean? You are going to leave that as an unallocated, so that when you install another type of operating system, you are going to install in the unallocated space for you to create new partition for that particular operating system. But in our case, we'll just have one operating system, which is the Windows 7 Professional. Then the unallocated space here, which is 50%, we are going to format it also. Okay, so selected one, then click new, and then apply. Okay, so meaning we have here the disk or the partition 2, partition 3, meaning this is the drive C and this is the drive D. This is the system reserved for the system file. So after that, make sure you have highlighted what particular drive you are going to install your operating system. So in this case, of course, by default, you are going to install that in the partition 1, or in this first partition, the 232.8 gigabyte. Then select that one, then click next. Meaning when you click next, you are saying that the highlighted drive will be the drive where the operating system will be installed. Okay, so click next, then in here it will install now the operating system. So we'll just let the computer to install the files, because we could do nothing with that except to wait and answer what is being asked by the computer for us. No? So expanding Windows file, we will have to wait that to reach up to 100%. That is to install the different files that is needed for the operating system. Remember that the operating system is serving as the mediator of the process from the hardware to our applications installed in our system. So that is why the first thing that we are going to do is we have to install the operating system, because in the absence of the operating system, nothing will be processed. Alright? Nothing will be processed because the operating system will have to serve as the manager. If you could remember, we are discussing the different management areas of the operating system: the file management, the device management, the processor management, okay, memory management, and the kernel. Okay, those are the important things that the operating system is trying to manage. So a hardware is nothing in the absence of the system software, which is the operating system. A software is also nothing. They could not work alone. They are actually working together: the operating system, the software, and the hardware, of course with the manipulation of the user. So even how intelligent is the computer without the user, the people that inputs instruction to the computer, your computer is nothing. Your computer will not turn on without the intervention of the end user. But then this system software stands a big role in the processing of our data. So that is why the first thing that we are going to do is we have to install a copy of an operating system to our computer system in order to process whatever information we need to be processed through the computer. So guys, it might take a long time in the process of installation. So mind you, when you are going to install, or when you are doing the formatting, then never detach anything in your computer system, okay? Because if the file will be interrupted, or the copying of files, the installation process of the operating system will be interrupted. There might be a tendency that our hard drive, the hard disk, will be crushed. Okay, crushed meaning that will be damaged. The sector of our hard drive will be damaged. So if that is the case, the file or our computer system will be corrupted, and there might be a tendency that our hard disk will not function at all. So what you're going to do during the installation, because it will take a long time, then just simply look for another way. You are going to do something which is not related to the computer system that you are formatting. Then just monitor on the behavior of your installation. So you have to wait this to reach into 100%, then it will restart the computer system. So don't worry if your system will have to restart, because that is the nature of the installation. So it will keep on restarting until such time it will ask you something on the configuration of the system. So when you do formatting, you have to look for another option where you can watch with the formatting process, but then you can do something also to another job, right? So that's it. It is quite you will feel bored in case if you'll just focus on this. But then if you have something to do out from this formatting while the system is installing, then it would be better for you, right? Again, never detach or never interrupt the process of installation until such time that the operating system was successfully installed to your system. Anyway, if your computer is in good performance, higher version of the motherboard, the memory, and then the processor speed is good, then it will not really take a number of minutes. So the maximum of formatting process that may take into 30 to 40 or 20 to 40 minutes, then the process of formatting is done. So that is also depending on your computer system. So if your computer system is quite obsolete, then of course you will encounter delays. Alright, so that is why the reason is you have to take into consideration when you install the operating system that take into consideration on the hardware performance. No, there are hardware that is only good for Windows XP, all right, or Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. So that is why there are versions of Windows that is also depending on the capacity of your hardware. So if that is in the higher version of hardware, then of course you can install a higher version of operating system. Alright, so we are already up to 91%. We still have 9% or 8% left. Then the rest here we'll just have to take a number of seconds, then it will restart the installation process. So remember, if you're going to use this USB stick, right, USB stick for your formatting, then after restarting, if after the system restart, then what you're going to do is you have to remove this USB to your computer. Alright, so installing updates, then we are now on the last part, completing the installation. So restarting in 9 seconds, so it will restart. It's either you are going to click the restart now or just let the computer to restart after loading this up to 100%. Okay, it will restart the system, then just let the system to load. Okay, so setup is updating registry settings. Okay, so the one that you see there, that press any key to boot from CD or DVD, never press any key because it will redirected to the reinstallation of a new copy of operating system. So just let the system will be loaded until such time it will proceed to the completing of the installation. Okay, so completing the installation process, then later on the system will be asking the user on the following configuration. So we'll just simply follow the steps and then everything will be fine. You just simply read what is being asked by the computer, then provide the information, then just click next until such time that you will reach up to the last point. Then the installation process is actually successfully done. So that is how we are going to format our computer. So for the first time it might be very difficult for us to imagine on the process, but then when you are fond of doing it, then it will be easy for you, it will be easy for us, especially when we experience the process of installation. Then that would be very easy for us to perform the installation of an operating system. So we are on the stage of completing the installation. Okay, so setup will continue after restarting your computer. So this is the second time that the computer system restarting. Okay, so never touch the keyboard when the system restart. So press any key to boot from CD. Do not press anything. Okay, as I've said, if you're using USB to configure the operating system or to install a new copy of operating system after restarting in the completing process, then you can eject the USB. So you just simply pull out your USB to the system so that it will not be loading again, or it will not restart to the first step, so it will continue. So now we are on Windows 7 Professional. You are going to type the username. Username is CSIT. Then just click next. Okay, type password. So just leave the password as blank. That is okay. That is optional when you are going to have. But if it is your personal computer, you can have your password, or you can have your password later after the installation. That would be okay. So just leave it as blank, then just click next. Then product key. Okay, product key will be given on the later part, so just have next there. Okay, help protect your computer and improve Windows automatically. So you are going to use the recommended settings. So click this one. Then in this particular setup, the window, you are going to set up your time. Okay, your time zone. Let's say for example, where? Okay, so Pacific. Let's just use this. And then our time now is, let's say this is already 9:06 a.m. Alright, so click next. Then Windows is now finalizing your setting. Okay, so the Windows is finalizing our setting. So we successfully installed our operating system, which is the Windows 7 Professional. Right, so again, when you wanted to upgrade your operating system from Windows 7 to Windows 10, then you have to do the same process, and then just instead of choosing the custom setting, just choose upgrade. Okay, so we are now already in the Windows operating, or we are already successfully installing the Windows 7 Professional. So this is already a fresh copy of Windows operating system, so you can adjust this resolution to have a better result. Then, oh, okay. So this is now our Windows 7 interface. So when you open this and go to my computer, we have already 2 drives there. Okay, we have divided the drive into 2. This is 50% of the total capacity of the hard disk, another 50%. So this local drive D and drive C. So we can format this. Okay, in order for us, we are going to format this in order for us to use, or we can have a copy of our drives. Okay, so this is already, our drive D is empty. a fresh copy of the drive. We have the drive C here, which is only the operating system is installed. Okay, the advantage of having a formatting the computer is it will delete everything including the virus. Okay, meaning this is fresh, a fresh copy of operating system without any infection. So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to install an antivirus for your protection. Okay, so we are done with the formatting process. I hope that it is clear, and I hope that I explain it clearly to you on the process from the very beginning, from the setup up to the process of formatting, partitioning of the drive, and then the installation of the operating system. So that is the overall process of formatting our computer. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. I hope that everything is clear. So stay safe everyone, and God bless us all.